and welcome to Stat Anatomy. In this video, we'll be talking about body cavities and serous membranes. To start off, we'll talk about the first division of body cavities. First, you have your dorsal and your ventral. As discussed in the last video, dorsal is the back side, so down your spine, back of your legs, and ventral is your stomach and front. So the dorsal body cavity has your cranial cavity, which is going to contain your brain. Draw a little brain, squiggly, brain. And then your vertebral, which is going to have your spinal cord. So cranial and vertebral, which make up your dorsal cavity. Next, the main one, is your ventral cavity, which is your front, so your thoracic and your abdominal. So your thoracic cavity is basically below your clavicle and above your diaphragm. And this is your diaphragm. And then abdominal is anything below your diaphragm. It's actually abdominal pelvic. So abdominal is basically your digestive system, major organs, and then it has a minor split that would transfer to your pelvic cavity, which would be urinary bladder, reproductive organs. In some animals, there's a membrane here separating your pelvic and abdominal cavities, but in humans, it's not. So it's usually referred to as the abdominal pelvic cavity. So we have abdominal pelvic cavity. The thoracic cavity breaks into a couple more cavities. So first, there's the pleural cavities, which is a paired structure. Your pleural cavities go around your lungs. Pleural means air. So you have one pleural cavity around your right lung and a pleural cavity around your left lung. And since they're a paired structure like lungs, when you're identifying them, you should always use right and left. So right, left, and they are your pleural cavities. Next, you have your pericardial. Peri means surround, cardial, heart. So pericardial surrounds your heart. Pericardial. Next is not technically a cavity, but it's just an area or space, which is your mediastinum, which would kind of go from here over to here. Your mediastinum is kind of your heart, major blood vessels, so superior, inferior vena cava, aorta, stuff like that. And it's just kind of the middle media under your sternum, And then your abdominal cavity doesn't really break into anything else. It's just abdominal and pelvic. So it's pretty easy and simple to remember. Next, we're just going to talk about serous membranes. So a serous membrane, serous means watery. So serous membranes basically cover all of your organs and stuff because they're all moving, your heart's beating, your lungs are breathing, your digestive system is doing peristalsis, wave-like movements to move your food through. So they're all moving against each other, and the serous membranes are preventing friction from occurring, which would cause pain. So this is just helping the body move better. So the serous membrane has two names. One for what it's touching. So there'd be visceral and parietal. And then another name for the region. So like pericardial and pleural all have their own viscera. So pericardium, pleura, peritoneum. So just going to the first naming system, visceral and parietal. Visceral means organ. So you're going to have your organ, And this we'll just say is the abdominal wall. So the viscera is going to wrap around the wall, around the organ, go back through in one continuous sheet all the way around. It's a crappy pen. The viscera, the membrane that is touching the viscera, the organ, is called the visceral serous membrane. Serous membrane. And then the parietal serous membrane is the one that's touching the wall or the outside of the abdominal wall. Whatever, it's not touching an organ. So that's parietal serous membrane. This little connection area where the parietal is turning into the viscera is going to be called mesentery, which you'll often hear when you're talking about like the small intestine and just really in the abdominal pelvic, you're going to hear mesentery a lot mentioned. And then just going over the second naming again. So a serous membrane in the pericardium is pericardial cavity would be the pericardium, and the pleural cavity would be the pleura, and the abdominal cavity would be the perineum. Just those two names. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.